Good morning, everybody, and a very warm welcome to Ask the Accountant, episode number 130. The date is the 28th of April, 2025. We've got a very special episode today. I'm not in my normal location. But Johann, first of all, how has your week been? The co-host with the most. You enjoy the sunshine over there? I've heard you've even got your shorts out. Is what they've been rumours on the internet.
It's forecasted to be 21 degrees on Wednesday in Edinburgh. I mean, that'd be a public holiday, and we all need to go down to the beach, tops off, and all that. But yeah, to be fair, it's been a bit grey and miserable all weekend here, so not brilliant. But yeah, no, I'm good. I had a good week. I'll tell you, top tip for anybody that enjoys musicals. I'm not a musical person. It's not normally something I enjoy going to see. However, Moulin Rouge was brilliant. So Moulin Rouge, my wife's been hinting at Moulin Rouge and going to that musical for, years, actually. There was a lot of unsubtle hints when we were in Germany, and it happened to be there at the time. But they're in Edinburgh at the moment. So I got her tickets for her birthday. And we went this weekend to go and watch Moulin Rouge. Very good, very enjoyable. So yeah, that was my weekend, and then I had a bit of it's that month when all our AML risk assessments hit us in one go. Well, not all of them, but a huge chunk hit us in one go. So I had 90 risk assessments to review and authorize and approve. So yeah, that was fun on Sunday. But yeah, how was your week? How was your weekend?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, just on Moulin Rouge, is that it? You're fluent in French as well? Because that's where I think I learned my fluent in Frenchness from there. You know, that's.
I won't go that far, no. I think, aren't you thinking the Miz?
No, I thought.
Isn't that the French one?
Isn't it in the song?
Yeah.
I got that wrong.
There's a bit of French in there, but not a lot.
There's French that's very useful. Or is it useful? I don't know. Maybe I'll dig myself up. That shouldn't do. Je m'appelle la fenêtre. That's my French, which means hello. My name is the window. So yeah. No, my weekend's been good. My week's been good. It was glorious weather as well. So you cannot complain, can you? Shorts out. Barbecue wasn't put on. I was a bit upset. We had other commitments and stuff beforehand. But then I travelled on Sunday down to London. Went through the marathon. Yet it seems to be every time the marathon's on, I'm in London. The correlation at the moment. So 2 years in a row, I've ended up in London for the marathon. I was gonna do a couple of laps, but I thought, you know what, let the professionals do it. I don't want to outshine them or anything. So I didn't do a couple of the marathon laps this time around. But I actually asked Tim, who's in the chat at the moment. I asked his permission if I could stay at the TSC, stay at their official hotel in London. So here I am. I'm in their hotel. I mean, it's a bit tight. Literally, I'm now touching both ends of the thing of the hotel room. But very nice, very interesting part of London as well. I'm dead centre in Soho, so doesn't matter where I look. I've got some interesting element happening in London. I've never stayed this central. And all the times I've stayed in London, I've always kind of been off out, we normally stay across the river and stuff, don't we, and all that sort of stuff. But no, very interesting location to be in, and yeah, very, very good, very good. So yeah, we're here for ICAW's talk later. We're doing I'm doing a nice little thing. In fact, it starts in 25 minutes, so the likelihood that I'm going to be there for the opening ceremony, open speech, is very unlikely, right?
Roaming reporter.
Yeah, they say the tubes are dead quick, right? So if it's instant if it's instant and reverses back time, I'll be fine. You know what I mean? If they're that good, maybe I've got to make sure I go on the Lizzie line, because that's new future tech and all that, isn't it? And then we're at the PQ Awards later, so that'll be good. That'll be interesting to see. And good luck to everyone who's got some things. I know Tim himself, his team's there for social media, and we've got some of a cracking opportunities, haven't we, or people there to get some awards. So it'll be a good night I had all round. As always, we wouldn't be anything without our amazing community. You've come in your droves today. Also, just so everyone's aware, I'm on 12 megabytes per second. So if I'm a little bit ropey today, connection wise, I'm literally a 20th of what I normally am. So yeah, or no, fifth of what I am in some circumstances. So yeah, whatever. But we've got Kirsty here. So good morning to you. First in the chat today. Paul was next. But good morning to you, Paul. Hope you're doing well. Louise was there. Good morning, Louise. Hope you are doing well. Tim's there. Oh, so I don't know if he's on the bus now, maybe, or something. He did say he had a bus to go on, so maybe he's there. Marcus there. Good morning, Marcus. Hopefully you're doing well. Sam's here. Good morning, Sam. Not first, but doesn't matter. You're still here. You still get your participation. Like the marathon, right? You don't get a first place medal, you just get a medal for turning up. So turning up, that's unfair, isn't it? For completing it.
Yeah, they didn't complete it first.
They didn't.
Yeah, I didn't get back of an ambulance.
Yeah, I didn't get one for 2 years on the trot turning up to London. So they don't just hand them out. User location's official name, have done. Yeah. Juliet says good morning. Good morning to you. Dave says, good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's had a great weekend, and good morning to you. Chandra's here. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you. Susanna's here. Good morning, Susanna. Cheryl's here. Good morning, all. Good morning to you, Cheryl. Hope you're doing well.
3 minutes late, Cheryl. I hope you're okay. We need to send a welfare check team.
We could have been late. You know what I mean? Our whole thing could have been late.
Person's not here on time.
Kirsty says, you're moonlighting in the red light district. Am I in the red light district? Is that official? Oh, crikey. All I know is there's a Byron 10-15 minutes away, so I was happy about that. I've got a Dave's Hot Chicken. If you've not heard of Dave's Hot Chicken, give that a go. And I've got all other manner of food options, so I am very, very happy. Thank you for Kirsty saying good luck for the PQ Awards. And then Nicola's here. Good morning to you, Nicola. Good morning to you too. Hope everything is well. All right, let's start off with some AI news, because hey, everything revolves around AI at the moment, right? Let's talk about ChatGPT's new not so deep research light. Go for it, Jan. Tell us what's going on.
So, as you all know, Aaron and I are slight fans of the deep research tool in ChatGPT. And to be fair, lots of you have been getting in touch with me saying, oh, Johann, you've opened my eyes. Deep research is incredible, blah, blah, blah. And then I've had to apologize because you've then ended up paying more for ChatGPT because you got slightly
not opened their eyes, you've opened their wallet.
Yeah. We've got a new form of addiction. But the challenge with ChatGPT deep research on the free model and on the £20 a month model is a limited number of tokens you get to use it for. So what they said to this in the last week was they're going to bring out a light deep research. So what will happen is you'll do your deep research as you normally do.
Yep.
And you will get the normal amount of deep researches that you get. Then once you've used all those tokens, you can still use the deep research functionality.
Yeah.
But it'll be a middle ground between the normal chat that can use its own intelligence and also look at the internet on one end as the lower grade. And then, but it's not quite as powerful as the proper deep research, but it means you can continue using a version of that tool for the whole month.
Okay.
Which is good news. It's great to see. We will see how that works in real life because we've not seen it yet. So it only got announced that they were going to do that last week because of all of that. But I do have one other bit of ChatGPT news, public service announcement actually, that I forgot to put on our notes. Can everyone stop being polite to ChatGPT? Because the moment you say thank you in a separate comment, when you say or good morning as a separate comment, that takes as much processing power as the actual question you're asking it to do, or if you're telling it to create a template. You saying hello or good morning or thank you or goodbye, which people are doing because they're polite, is costing millions of dollars a day and using up more energy, etc., which means it's really bad for the environment to be polite to AI. So if we can all stop being polite to AI to help protect the environment, that would be fantastic. There we go. Public service announcement over.
And they say they don't get, impactful information from Ask the Accountant. That's where if you CPD point, I don't know what it is. I think, first of all, on the news about the light, that's going to be absolutely best news ever, right? Because once you start using that deep research, so you are addicted. Before long, you're thinking, what's the next level above? Is there anything more? Am I missing out? Anything more that I could utilize here at this point? The fact that we could just maintain our, because it is the £20 and above, isn't it? You can't get deep research light on the free, can you? Still,
I don't think you can. No,
which makes sense, right? Like let's be honest, that makes total sense. Because I've been even going down the path of, well, I'm also paying for Copilot at the same time, and Copilot's just released their, they call it what are they calling it? It's called research.
Deep research.
Yeah, but they've obviously had to rename it. But Copilot's really weird in their implementation. With ChatGPT, it's a straightforward. You get this nice new button at the bottom when you press basically go, and there's a deep research when you toggle it on and off, basically, and it, really straightforward to use. Copilot is all about, well, you've got to enable a new agent, and then you've got to make sure the agent's looking at the chat and going through from there, and all this, that, and the other, and it just an convoluted way of doing it. And also, from what I can tell, doesn't seem to be available in the UK at the moment. May just be my account that's not rolled out to, but I've followed guides on how to use deep research within Copilot or research as it is, and struggled massively to get that working. Well, failed to get that working at the moment. So I'm like deep in that. Well, I've used my tokens up, and I've I shouldn't really be using all of this yet on. And you start getting a little bit paranoid about, it's almost like range anxiety on your car. So if anyone who's got an electric car, now, like whenever you go anywhere, it's like range anxiety. And then now we've got deep research token anxiety. Like, are we using it on the right things? Should we be, saving these tokens to put through from there? Or do you just pay the upgrade fee and go through from there? So that's kind of where I'm in. So this idea really sings to me. It's like, oh, actually, okay, this could be a viable solution, a viable kind of middle ground. Especially when, by the looks of it, the Copilot one seems to be A, not the same, but B, doesn't quite work out. But on the flip side of that, though, one thing, and I'll still maintain this, my only gripe about ChatGPT is that they're obviously trying to build their own ecosystem. That's apparent, right? They don't want you to leave the ChatGPT platform. And why should they, right? This is how they're going to become, get all that, start taking the data, putting it elsewhere. They can't see what's happening, right? They're blindsided about what you're doing with that data. So either it's by intention or it's just, a happy coincidence. It's really actually quite tricky to take the data from ChatGPT into another platform and actually work with it, right? Whereas with Copilot, as soon as you've done anything, you can then create a Word doc. You're in that Word document or whatever it's going to be. You can just easily just manipulate that data within software that you're comfortable using, and that's one downside with ChatGPT, isn't it, at the moment? And my tinfoil hat moment, but I believe at some point they'll just build their own Word competitor, PowerPoint competitor, Excel competitor. Why not? Like it, they've shown how powerful it is. They'll just use ChatGPT to build it, no doubt. The developers will sit back and go, right, that's done. But it definitely looks like at one point they'll have their own ecosystem that you'll just be able to fluidly go in between. But at the moment, I do the deep research in ChatGPT and then export it out, and I go in, and it just becomes a bit of a workflow. Not optimized. I can't really complain about it, right? Because it's way quicker than ever having to do this all myself, right? I've already saved infinite amount of time to go into it. But I definitely do see that one will open the doors for so many more people, and hopefully that's where people will see this, and that's where people will go, oh, actually that's pretty cool. And I know we've had a lot of backlash about it, but at the moment the only thing that's really gravitated and got people excited at the moment is that whole idea of action figures, isn't it? Like that's been like a big meme and big, starting point. Chrissy, my wife, the first time she's ever used ChatGPT, she downloaded it for the first time ever, so she could create an action figure, right? Like that's the impact this is happening. Cool update on that, actually. She didn't tell me at the time, but the reason she was doing that was because she's not just created the action figure, but she's then spoke to a brother who has a 3D printing machine, and she's created that action figure. So keep an eye on socials for that one, because it looks like
cool.
It's come out really well. But yeah, like that's, we need more of those we need more of those things to go, right, this is your use case, this is why you want to have ChatGPT on. And, like for me, my action button, like my action button now, I press the action button straight to ChatGPT, right? Like that's where we need to progress for people to really see the benefits of it. And I think deep research lied to me. If we get enough people talking about it and get those restrictions, like, and it's not range anxiety that cripples you from using it, which is, my situation, then that's got to be a good thing for everyone. That's when people start understanding why this tool is so powerful, right?
Definitely. Actually, I do have another AI news article.
Ooh.
Because, again, I know a lot of people have been spending money because of my recommendations, so apologies for that. That needed an apology corner for that, really. But anyone that's got the Claude Note or the Claude Pin, which are the AI devices that I use to record all of my meetings and stuff, I've done some videos and stuff in the past on those. They've just been certified as SOC 2 and HIPAA. Basically, that means their security is so bulletproof and their privacy is so bulletproof that doctors and medical professionals in America can use them safely without any issues at all. Yeah, so if you can record a patient's medical meeting on these things securely, then your accounting and bookkeeping conversations are all right. That just got announced this week as well, that those two devices are now, well, all of Claude's recording and transcribing stuff is now SOC 2, which is like the most secure security certification you can get for apps. Like that's what the big boys spend a lot of time sorting out. And HIPAA, which is the medical profession security in America. So if anyone's got any concerns about the Claude and the security and privacy of their data that is collecting, that will help put your minds to rest, hopefully.
Yeah. Great news. That is great news. Still one of those ones I don't know. I think I'm being stubborn. I'm like, look, I'm already paying for Copilot and I can do this workaround. And
has Copilot got HIPAA and SOC 2 certification?
Great question. No idea. No idea. You'd hope so, being Microsoft, but who knows? But
has Otter AI got it? Has Firefly AI got it? Like,
I mean, your assumption is Copilot's probably the most likely of them to have it, right? With Microsoft backing them, but that means nothing, right? Like they for all we know, it's open the other end to anyone to have a look at, right? But the thing that I'm using, or I'm still like using these workarounds, and in fairness to Copilot, they've just brought out a new feature where it's got voice recognition now, so you can teach it your voice. And then the idea then is when it is transcribing to more people, that you can go, oh, Aaron said this. So one of that other voices, that must be the other person who's in the meeting note. So it must be
that one always baffled me. Why have you got to teach Teams your voice? Surely it knows your voice because it's coming from your microphone.
Oh, no. If you're doing a Teams call, fine. Like that, it knows exactly what microphone it is. That's
right.
Been the issue. So when you're trying to do it in person or over the phone or those sort of things, where that person hasn't joined that Teams call, that was always because I would export the notes and be Aaron said this, Aaron said that. And I'm like, blimey, Aaron said a lot of stuff here. That's because all it knew was the one voice, and it was just assuming that one voice coming from my microphone, because I was recording it on my device, sign in as me, it just assumed it was always me, and then literally almost made it kind of pointless at that point, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but now it's kind of gone from there. So that's good. I mean, look, more of these little updates. I don't know. Should I jump on the Claude bandwagon? I'm still unconvinced at the moment. I don't do enough in-person meetings, in fairness. Like, that's not a...
There's due to be a release of so it's already available on Windows, which really upsets me. But the Claude app is due to be released on Mac next month, which will auto-record all your calls and stuff that you have through your computer. That's the bit where it's like, okay, I don't need to have memory of press the button and stuff like that, which is my biggest downfall. Like the amount of things I miss because I don't actually remember to turn on the record button. So yeah, like that's going to be a big game changer for me, just to make it even more slick and more comprehensive.
Yeah. And I know you like that idea that it's a separate solution, a separate app, isn't it? Basically, that you, at the end of the day, you go through and you review them and you put them where they need to go. You copy and paste them into its different areas. So I know for certain workflows, that's like definitely the thing. And keeping it separate is actually a really good thing. We don't need integration of everything. Not,
Exactly.
There's a world where we want everything talking to everything, right? But there's also a world where we need certain things to be siloed just for our own workflow.
Yeah,
and I know
you want to triage it.
Exactly. And for me, that's where Copilot works really well, because it just becomes another now Teams message in my Teams, and it becomes a workflow there. So at the end of the day, I'll just scan through and go, have I already dealt with that? Have I, put that into the right place and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I think we're kind of getting the same end result. I'm just having to do more workarounds at the moment. Oh, I forgot to say hello to the Instagram team. We have Amy Hannock there. Good morning, #Amy. Hope you are doing well. And Steph's there as well. Better late than never. Morning, gents. Emergency food tech ingredient shop. Interesting. Very intrigued about that one. So they're there, and there's a load of people joined there as well, but they're the ones who have commented, and we've got more comments coming through. We have Trevor says, in good morning from sunny Ireland. Ooh, how sunny are we talking? Are we going 21 degrees to Scotland, or London? I have no idea what we are in London, but
and you won't know if the sun's out in London unless it gets through the smog. Oh, has he gone?
Smiles, and you don't see. Oh, I'm back. Yeah, so you do know when the sun's out because people are smiling. That's the barometer. It's like, well, what's this smiling mark? You can be sure that AI will not be polite when it comes to saying access to your bank account. Well, yeah, exactly. Part of the politeness issue is that ChatGPT always has a follow-up. Like, would you like that in blog format, says Paul. Yeah, so it's not helping itself, right?
But also, that's the reason that's there is for a very good reason. Like, it's trying to explain to you what else you can do with this. It's trying to make you stickier and use it more. Like, like, I've got no issue with it asking me, would you like this? It's like, oh, that's a good idea. Like, would you like this in a PDF? Would you like this in a Word document? Like, it does all of that already. So I like that because it helps me understand what more I can achieve from ChatGPT in the tool. Like, yeah, I've got no issues with that whatsoever. But yeah, it's saying you saying thank you and it's saying you're welcome doesn't add value to anybody.
It doesn't, but my only public service announcement with that is that when AI does take over the world and it saves the likes of me who are still saying thank you and
it won't.
And protects us for being polite. And then there's the you who's purposely now not saying thank you, just to maybe this is, who knows, ChatGPT have made that comment up. I'm just saying, maybe they've said that so they can target people who are still polite.
The tinfoil hat is truly well placed today.
Yeah, exactly. Trevor says it meant to say stopping access to your bank account. Exactly. Yeah. Hi, Johann. What software provider do you use for AML checks? We'll come back to questions later. ChatGPT will add a Word document to a letterhead. I will add a Word. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So what in the Word? But you have to
give you a Word document to download.
Yeah, and then it puts it through and puts it through. No, yeah. Great point there, Shell. Which, look, we're comparing like minute savings here, but the only benefit, or the other benefit of Copilot is it could already have that accessible, right, in Copilot, because the Word document is probably there and put it through. Morning, love my personal assistant chat. Exactly. I mean, My only thing I found with the personal assistant chat is how do you turn it off? Because especially if you like activate in the car or something, you have some while you're driving and you have your little chats there, and you go, you know, thanks Chat GPT, you can close now, and it's still listening, and it's still listening. There doesn't seem to be a prompt to say stop listening now, because it will just continue having that conversation with you going forward. And doesn't that use some of your deep research tokens as well?
If you've got deep research mode on, in theory. But
no, I think the chat assistant is part of that token pool. I mean, you're paying for unlimited anyway now.
I was going to say I don't have these limitations. I don't have this anxiety in my life.
Yeah, because I was telling Johann off air, like one of the things I've used my deep research token for is to ask Chat GPT what counts for your deep research tokens and how much have I used and when am I using it and all that sort of stuff. ChatGPT was never going to tell me. They want me to spend that money. Trevor says, if your computer is compromised, does it matter if what platform you're using is secure? That's very, very true. So basically, Trevor's saying everyone should have a Mac. That's how I
stop using a Windows device then. That'll save you compromisation.
I'm not sure if he's sticking a finger up at me or if he's telling me to look up. I don't know.
Yeah, look up.
And then Carl says, good morning to you too, Carl. And I don't think we've got anyone else on the Instagram world. Nothing your end Instagram is there to bring out?
That would imply I've linked to Instagram.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Right. Cool. All right, awesome. Let's go into some Zero news then. So we've got 3 bits of Zero updates to talk about. We've got Zero Simple goes live. We've got Jax versus Intuit Assist and the bank reconciliations first impressions. Let's start with those bank reconciliation first impressions, first of all, because that's the bit I did a little video over the weekend, edited it, got it out. Maybe out by Tuesday, but got a bit of a conflict of commitments and stuff, and yeah, there's a bit of a conflicting issue for this particular Tuesday, but if it's not, it'll be next Tuesday it's out. But basically I did a video of is this it? Has Zero finally won me over? Because from my point of view, and everyone has their own opinions, and I know mine's going to be very much, people are going to take it with a pinch of salt. I am the QuickBooks chap after all, so there's going to be a bit of bias sat there. But my non-negotiables for not using Zero for a long time was, one was their bank reconciliation, because they didn't have bank reconciliation, so I wasn't, that was going to be a sticking point for me. And 2, ever since I've started using ChatGPT, World of AI, Intuit Assist, etc., was a decent and something that captured my eye and my creative juices, if you like, from an AI point of view. Like for me, I might live to regret this saying, but I do believe that the cloud race was one race for the general ledger and FML and whatever we're going to call the bookkeeping solutions, and I do believe AI is going to be the next one. And I think it's obvious that when you've got Sage Copilot, Intuit Assist, that there's going to be a big future behind them. And at the moment, we're still waiting for the likes of Jax and stuff to come into play and go through from that. So I've always had this bit of there's 2 non-negotiables for me to even consider full-time looking into these solutions and bring. And don't get me wrong, we have a handful of clients using Zero. We have a handful of clients using every piece of software on the market, right? But we're still very much, QuickBooks is the one that we know we can support our clients better on. We know what their strengths is, et cetera. So I'm still not saying that's forever though, right? I'm not saying that forever we're going to only have Zero or only have QuickBooks or only have whatever. But until bank reconciliation sorted and now AI sorted, or at least, at a point where I can be confident with them, for me, the door's almost closed at that point. So interesting to see that they've kind of solved both answers, or at least potentially solved both answers in this last week. Let's talk about the bank reconciliation first of all. I know you've not looked at it yet, but what was your kind of current feelings around the bank reconciliation? Because I know there's been some people on the internet that as soon as this came out, they were like, please don't bring this to the UK. We don't want to go backwards in time, which I was very shocked about. Like that took me completely by by surprise. But talk to me. I mean, what's your view on it?
Yeah, but that's like when QuickBooks and stuff, they launched like void buttons and delete buttons. And, when you go back to the old school accounting and bookkeeping training, you should never, ever, ever delete anything.
Yeah.
You should counter journal it and stuff like that. So we've changed our mindset on that because we all go in and delete things now. Like bank rec, in yours and my opinion, should always be there because we want to be able to go balance A matches balance B. If it doesn't, let's work out what's gone wrong. Whereas others were of the opinion, no, if the bank feed's right, the bank feed's right. The problem is I keep seeing the bank feeds that are wrong in Xero. So for me and for you, this tool is a step in the right direction. Whereas others think it's a waste of time. It's like time tracking. There's lots of firms out there that don't do time tracking in their firm because they think that's an old way of working. So when you release a time tracking tool, half the industry is going to go, well, that was a waste of development time. The other half's going to go, oh my God, you guys have saved my life. So it's always going to split us down the middle, some of these tools like that. So for me and the way my team's mindset works, Xero having a bank rec tool is great news because that's how we work with every other software we use. We have a bank rec. It's part of our workflow. And at the moment, we have to do that outside of Xero. So the fact that we can do that inside of Xero, that can only be a good thing and be more efficient. If you don't like using bank recs, don't use it. Like, not everything a software develops is going to be right for you in your practice. But you've got to remember, you are one versus, in Xero's case, hundreds of thousands.
Yeah. And like from my point of view, I don't know if I'm being overly critical here and overly, and maybe I'm thinking about this way too much, but if this is a divisive issue, which I never thought it would be, I'm flabbergasted by this. I thought we were all on the same page here. Bank recs was a non-negotiable, right? And everyone's got their opinions, let them have them, whatever, right? There's going to be, you've got flat earthers around, and now you've got people who are not bank rankers, right? In my end, they're in the same part, right? They're the same silo. So if we've got this, are you there? Are you on?
Yeah, no, we're here.
All right, cool. For me, if you've got this divisive or a potentially divisive thing about bank rec, then surely, because during my video I did I actually used my my little button, right, and I spoke to ChatGPT and it was all recorded, and I just asked, like, look, how long has bank rec been in QuickBooks for? I knew it was from day one, but what is that time range? Like, how long are we talking here? Because in my mind, bank rec in QuickBooks is a brilliant feature, but it's an old feature. Like, there's got to be ways, like anything in life, if you have that long, and it came up with 12 years, which I'm not 100% confident is right, but let's just say that's the truth. That's what ChatGPT said. Let's say it's right? So if this tech is 12 years old, am I right in thinking that from 12 years on, we really should have some innovation by now? And I don't believe that QuickBooks should be providing this innovation because they've got no competition in the market, right? What they need is someone else to come along and go, right, hold my beer, this is how you should do bank rec. A lot like, practice management solution came along not long ago and said, this is how you should be doing 648s, right? Like, we need that. We need people to be bringing up new ideas, bringing, new technology to the thing. Because what happens then is another solution will come along, hopefully better that again, and then the other one has to better it. And guess who wins out of that? We win, right? Like, we're the winners out of this, right? Yeah, it becomes a cool battle that we get to watch and all this and the other, but ultimately we win because we get a better experience out of all. So for me, if it's been 12 years or whatever the time frame is, maybe ChatGPT is right, maybe it's wrong, but whatever the time frame is, surely whatever gets launched now isn't feature parity. That's a given. We should be seeing something that elevates that process, right? 12 years worth of coolness, 12 years worth of evolution, right? That's where my expectation is. And I don't know if I'm being unfair or anything else before, right? Like, I had this exact analogy about fixed assets in QuickBooks. fixed asset should have been above what was there because of the innovation, blah, 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 blah. I was completely burned. So to kind of set that expectation for zero, that's where my expectation was. That's really hard for it to get to that point, right? And I don't know if I'm being fair or not, but that's how my brain was working. And they've released this new one now. Full disclosure, I did a whole video on, let's look at it, let's test it, let's do everything else. And halfway through the video until I realized that I didn't actually have the new experience, and it's only in North America at this point in time. So that's on me. I was wondering, I was like, are you sure this is a bank rec? But from what I've seen of the American version, and we've only got videos to kind of go through, and other people releasing videos and showing what it is and all that sort of research we can do. But from what I can see, yes, it's a step in the right direction, but I don't even think it's parity. I generally don't. I don't think it locks down that period, because that to me is what reconciliation should do. Not just give you confidence that your bank statement and your general ledger is the same, but also lock that period so that if anything changes, it's really easy for you to get back to that position, right? You've already spent your time and resources to get to that position. So if something, and look, mistakes happen. People, clients delete things. Your team could delete something. Like, there's so many things that can happen that we just need a reset button, don't we? We just need to go, right, let's at least get back to that position and figure it out from there. And for what I can tell, it doesn't even do that bit.
You'll be asking for like software backups and stuff next.
but you've spent your resources.
You've floppy disk.
But you spent resources and time to get to that position. At least we can do is get back to it, right? And then the only innovation we've really had in this space lately is that QuickBooks has been promising us that we're going to get the banks to finally listen to us and give us open banking that they've offered, and finally get the opportunity to auto import the bank statement. Because the only pain point we have at the moment is getting the bank statement in the first place, right? Like working with our clients, having to put workflows in place, blah, blah, blah. There's cool tech out there, there's cool solutions, there's reminders, all that sort of stuff. But ultimately, till we actually receive that bank statement, we're struggling to get to that point. And it doesn't seem to be any real innovation in that area as well. So I don't know, being overly critical probably, but at this point in time, I don't see this as anything that goes anything other than, well done, you've reached almost parity, but not quite parity with QuickBooks. I just don't feel like that's enough. But have you seen any of it at all, or any of you?
No, I've not seen any of it yet. It's in like, when I look at AI tech and stuff, I always look at what's happening in America to see what's happening, because I know it's going to come to the UK.
Yeah.
After 8 years in the industry of accounting and bookkeeping, I've given up waiting. Like, I've given up looking at what's in America, because it just takes so long to get to the UK, or never turns up. And it's like, I'm not going to get my hopes up. Once they tell me it's coming to the UK, that's when I know it'll be here. Whereas with a lot of Apple, like, it'll get here. Like, we're a big market to them, whereas we're not a huge market compared to QuickBooks in America or Xero in Australia. Like, of course, that's going to be their focus markets. And on top of that, there's more complexities. Like, every country has its own tax system and its own accounts production system and stuff. Whereas with tech, it just gets rolled out blanket. So for me, when it comes to QuickBooks and Xero, I don't pay much attention anymore to what's happening outside of the UK. I listen and I test and I research it once it's in the UK.
Yeah, which is fair. I mean, it does confuse me why Xero thought North America was the first country to roll this out to. Is it because there's only 5 of them out there, and it's like almost like a closed beta? Is that what it is?
It makes sense, because America's so check dependent still.
True.
That you're always going to have a deviation between what you've told QuickBooks, or Xero, which is kind of live data that I've paid this, and the bank going, no, you haven't, no, you haven't, no, you haven't. Yes, you have, because we just processed the check. So I think in America, actually, it's a really good use case of why you need bank rec.
Yeah.
Like, in the UK, do you need bank rec every week anymore? No. Like, most of my clients, we only bank rec quarterly, just it's almost as a token gesture. Like, let's just make sure that adds up, because we've got the live bank feeds, we've got instant payments, faster payments. Like, I can't remember. I think it was 5 years ago I last saw a check that wasn't from my nan. Like, it's like I do think America is actually fair play to Xero. America is the right place to launch this because it's probably the place that it needs it most because their banking sector is so far behind us.
Fair enough. And maybe that's why there's no innovation there, right? Because all they've got to do is do a bare minimum just to tick that box, I suppose. Because they definitely don't have open banking over there, do they? Let's talk about Xero's simple going live. I think this comes in nice. Yeah, this comes in nicely to kind of the main topic I wanted to bring to the table, really, which was our MTD preparation. So for us, we've decided what our solutions are going to be. We've looked at our base. We've communicated with everyone. Blah blah blah. We've done all that bit, and that bit's, I hope. I think a lot of people who listen to this will probably be on the same thing. They're there or thereabouts with that side of things, right? And I hope for a lot of accountants and bookkeepers out there that they are at that point, right? That they kind of know what their position's going to be in terms of their offerings and who they're going to be delivering to and all that sort of stuff. Because, that's the bit that's the timely bit. That's the bit that could be the most difficult bit to kind of implement and everything else. So if you haven't started already, at least I wouldn't imagine, especially people listening to this, that they're going to have that bit sorted, or at least, planned out. One thing, though, that I'm still not 100% convinced about, and there's videos coming on this channel. There's, we want to put some content out there to help as much as we can, but it's about what offerings from, our providers, what they're going to do. Because I think we're all under the impression that there's not one shoe's going to fit all in this scenario, as much as we'd want it, right? Like, I feel like we're definitely going to, more than ever, we've got to be susceptible to different offerings and different solutions, because we for the most part we're dealing with clients who are tech adverse. Otherwise they'd already be on some solution, right? Like, they'd already be there, and for us, we would literally just be going from what they're already doing and just adding on a quarterly update. That's as much as MTD would be for a lot of our clients, right? But let's consider those clients who aren't on software at the moment. What are we going to do? And I really think that this is the point where we've got to be really critical on what those solutions are. So Xero Simple Start, that's Xero's solution, or at least one of theirs, isn't it? I know they've got ledgers as well, which support bridging and all that sort of stuff. That I'm personally staying away from bridging, so I don't know if that's going to be a right solution or wrong solution for people, but I imagine, if you're in the Xero ecosystem, it'll work pretty well. But their big push for MTD clients is Xero Simple. So do you want to talk about how you see it, or like how you see it fit so far?
I didn't think it had been released, but then because even last week when I was adding a few new clients to Xero, it's like, Simple's still not on here. Then I had a brainwave this morning. It's like, every client I've been adding is a limited company. Maybe Xero's smart enough to not offer me a product that won't work for that client. So tried adding a sole trader this morning, and yeah, Simple is an option, and so is the Ledger option. So as you say, I'm not convinced that Xero Simple, QuickBooks Sole Trader, I don't think either of them are the right solution at the moment. Like Hammock, if you're landlords, fantastic solution. But actually, the challenge isn't which solution is going to do the job. It's which solution can I convince my clients to sign up to? And as you say, these clients, if they were tech savvy, they'd be on these solutions already. Like, they'd have, even without our support, they'd have heard from their mates, oh, we use this, it makes life so much easier, blah, blah, blah. Like, a few weeks ago, I had a carpet cleaner in to do the carpets in my house. Dropped him a message on Facebook. He replied instantly, sent some photos, yeah. So next thing I know, I've got an email with a quote. I confirm that. Then I get an email saying, great, you've confirmed your quote. Here's the booking slots we've got available. Brilliant. Do that. 20 minutes before he arrived, I got a text message saying, I'm on my way. Then he arrived, did the job, walked out. No sooner had he walked out did I have an invoice. No sooner did I pay that invoice, did I get a request for a review from Google. And it's because he powered it all with ServiceMate.
Yeah.
Like, that's how cool this tech can be. But majority of the people that I messaged on the same day took between 3 and 5 days to come back to me. Had nothing. Like, I was like, the guy's been and gone. He's been paid. He's got a Google review. Like, it. The rest of that group of people are not going to be using the latest tech. They're not going to see the value that ServiceMate offered brought into that person. Like,
yeah,
I'll just go straight back to him again now because I know how simple and easy it is.
Yeah.
But if your clients aren't already convinced to use software, then legislating isn't really going to. It's not going to make them more willing. It's just going to make them more angry at the thought they've got to use something. So for us, it's going to be a cost-effective solution that's going to be our option. And with a cost-effective solution, it will then be a viable, it then shows them the benefits of using software and that'll get them into it. But one less pain point to have that conversation is, actually, the software's not going to cost you anything. So for us, Metal Bank, RBS, and NatWest with Free Agent, that's our go-to because we get a high street bank. We convince the clients to stop using their bloody personal savings account or personal bank account for running their business and actually put it through a proper sole trader bank account. And they get the accounting software and their MTD ready all in one go. So for us, that's the viable option. I don't see how turning around going, it's going to be another £7. And actually, in making you pay £7 for Xero Simple, QuickBooks Sole Trader, whatever, it's not fixed the problem, that big problem that we're also fixing with the free software of getting you to use the right bank account. Because I'm fed up of going through people's personal bank statements and trying to pick out business expenses.
Yeah.
I don't need to see your Sky gambling addictions or whatever else you're subscribed to. Like, instead of just going for a narrow thing, I'm going for a bit of a broader approach here and trying to fix several behavioral issues at the same time.
Yeah, look, I agree. I think in terms of the metal solution being by far one of the most attractive ones for certain clients, the idea that they don't even need Free Agent, right? They can do all of their quote unquote bookkeeping in metal, and they're off to the races. Like they basically make payments out there, and I get there's definitely a strength there. I fundamentally disagree that QuickBooks Sole Trader's not a viable solution, only because it's the only solution on the market where you don't have to categorize everything, right? And there's certain clients.
You're only fixing one problem.
Oh, agree.
Multiple problems in your client's behavior in one go. That's the efficient way to do it.
We have a blanket. If you don't have a separate bank account, we're not your accountant, right? So we've already kind of that. We had that brought in before MTD. It was just one of those things where we just got to a point where we're like, look, this ain't going to work for us. We will clean up a historical mess if that's what you've been doing. But if you want to be a client with us going forward, you have to have a separate bank account, and that's in our T's and C's and go through from there. And we only process what's in that separate bank account, right? So you're right. Yeah, that's a fundamental error issue in the accounting industry. And hopefully, if one thing we get out of MTD is that everyone has their own separate business bank account, and it doesn't have to be a business bank account if you don't need to at the first, at the very beginning. Hopefully it is, but it doesn't have to be. Just be a separate one. Then I'm all up for it, right? But I still have a client base, or there's potential client base where they're not going to do their own bookkeeping. Doesn't matter how much you think that, like, they're part-time window cleaners, or they're they're resellers or Avon representative, whatever it's going to be, right? They're not sat there doing their their bookkeeping on a regular basis. Like they just want someone to hand over the records to and let it happen. And if that's the service that you're going to be offering, you need to make that as cost effective as you possibly can. If the base records are simply a bank statement with the transactions going in and out, you need to effectively and efficiently process that. And to me, sitting there and processing those transactions sounds like that's going to be a lot longer and a lot more complicated than having it auto categorized. So that's where I see the Sole Trader product like shining, right? Because it's auto categorization. We can work with that, and we can mold it, and we can build a service around that one. And what I do tip my hat off to, both Free Agent and QuickBooks, and I know Sage has done this as well, is they've looked at it in a different way for the MTD clients. They've looked at it and gone, right, these are people who are tech adverse. These are people who haven't used a solution before. So we've got to make it as simplified as we possibly can. Like, there's no point throwing the word journal at them. There's no point throwing all these complicated terms in, because they're not going to know what they are. If we can simplify that, make it straightforward, and add some features that go, oh wow, okay, I'm solving my problem. You know, mileage tracking, receipt capture built directly in. You know, if they're there and they've got those opportunities there, which I know that, you know, the likes of the QuickBooks, the likes of Free Agent and Metal has, and also the likes of the new Sage product, right? They have those solutions built in. So you're not having to sell it because, oh, it's a compliance issue and you have to have it. You're selling it by going, but it's also going to solve you these issues, right? Your mileage that you keep moaning about, that you've annoyed at me because I keep charging you more because you send me a shoebox full of receipts. Well, now here's your shoebox. It's right here. This little camera thing, right? And you're going to take the photos for me, right? Suddenly you're solving issues and you're working with the clients to bring it there. I'm yet to understand, and we've not played with it. We did not used it yet on us because we were, adding the wrong client type. So yeah, fair play. That's on us. That's completely our problem. But I've been wanting to play with Xero Simple because I want to see what they've done different. Like, how have they approached this? How have they made this simplified for their client base? How have they made it so that they're going to encourage people to use this product more?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't think they have yet. I don't think there is a solution there, and that worries me. And that's where I'm at the moment. And this was a big opportunity for Xero, surely, to win. And I'll go back to, I still think Xero Go was the right product for this. I thought Xero Go poorly implemented, but the concept was brilliant. Like, it was a watered down version. It was so simple. It was straightforward. Yeah, you needed to have a bank connection. That was a fundamental, but surely that would have come in time.
Yeah.
But all I've seen from Xero Simple is it's the same product, just restricted. And I don't see how that's going to be a viable solution for people, right?
Yeah, I've not got into it properly yet. As I say, I only twigged this morning. It's like, oh, maybe I've not been given the simple option because I've been added limited companies. Oops. But like Sam in the comments has said, oh, Xero Simple's delayed until the first week of May. It's not. It's there now. I've taken out a subscription for a test client now, and I'm in there. It's working fine. I need to have a bit more of a dig, but it does look very, just from the accountant's point of view. But this is what we want: is it looks the same as all the other licenses. That's good for us, right? Because we don't want to have to think of different UI for every different type of client that's out there. But I need to have a look at it and set myself up as a client on there and have a look at it on the mobile app and stuff to see the functionality properly.
Yeah, and I agree on the same UI, because I think that's where, if we were in a position where QuickBooks Self-Employed, for example, was the solution, that would never work, because it's...
Look at the mess that QuickBooks got themselves into by having, back when they used to have the accountant's view and the client's view, and we'd go, right, on the phone to them, yeah, if you click here and click... Well, hang on, click what?
Yeah.
Well, which word? And then you realise we've got two different wordings, we've got two different layouts. This is ridiculous. But yeah, so yeah, I'm holding back my feedback on Xero Simple. It's now available. Like, I've signed up this morning for a test account on it, and when I say a test account, I've literally created a fake client, gone to Xero subscription, and taken out the Simple start. So I can now play with that and see what we get on with. But yeah, like, it can't be just a reduced version of the main thing. Like, it needs to be more powerful. It needs to have that help with auto categorizing and stuff like that all the other competitors are going to be doing. Otherwise, yeah. I mean, is Xero in a position where it's like our users are going to use it no matter what bells and whistles we put on it? So what's it matter?
But I feel like at the end of the day, this is all about the end consumer, isn't it? That's ultimately who we need to impress here. Like, we've done it before in the past with every piece of software, one of all solutions, right? Like, didn't happen for very long, but the client was already using it. They felt happy on it, whatever, right? Like, I just feel like this MTD is all about making the end user happy, because if we can't keep them happy, if they're not if we're forcing them to use a solution, it's going to end in tears, surely, because again, they already would have moved to solution at this point. So we've got to wow them with something. We've got to make this a pleasant experience for them, like you said there, like integrating service mate and stuff like that. That is definitely 100% how we win these people going forward. We solve multiple pain points at the same time, not just for us but for them. I'll always remember a client of mine where we took them on. They had always done paper records in the past. It was a window cleaner, and we got to the end of the year, like, just out of curiosity, all these debts and stuff, are they bad now or not? And he went, what debts? No one owes me any money. But he didn't know that this money was just we were 18 months down the line at this point. It was the old traditional, he sent it in at the last moment to get us to get the work done, right? Like, he didn't know that these debt, and at this point he'd have to write the debts off, right?
Yeah.
But using software meant he instantly knew what his debts were. He can incorporate Go Cardless. He can start collecting this money so much easier, and it's not cash. Blah 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 blah. So, like, they're the stories we need to be using. They're the stories we need to be pushing as why MTDs actually can be a good thing for you. Why this is going to be something that's going to benefit you and your business going forward. You're actually going to know that you have debts that you may not know about. Like, that's huge for a business. That's fundamental. And for £7 a month, whatever price it's going to be, whatever price point it is, suddenly that's worth every penny, right? Because you're collecting 10 times that more in debts you didn't even know was there, right? So it pays for itself, sort of thing. That's the way. They're the stories we need to incorporate for this to work. But let's see what it is. And you're right, we've never played with Zero Simple, but if it is just the same Zero, I just don't know if that's even viable for me to even consider as a solution for my clients.
Yeah, I mean, from my end, everything I'm looking at looks exactly the same. It's just a reduced, like, instead of 20 invoices, you get 10 and stuff like that. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Go on.
And what I do love is that all three of the others have gone a different route, right? And that's great for the industry, isn't it? Because Sage have got their freemium version where they've got these cool little perks and stuff like that, and they've really thought about the end consumer. Free Agent's gone for that. Well, let's make this almost let's not even have Free Agent as the option for the end user. Like, let's us as the accountant and bookkeeper use Free Agent, but they just continue to use their banking as normal. And then you've got QuickBooks or Productive. Let's AI this and let's see how that goes. I'm not saying any of those is the right way yet, because we don't know. Like, who's to say? But at least we've got 3 different approaches, and hopefully those 3 different approaches merge into every one of those solutions can do all 3 at one point, right? That'll be the dream for everyone, right? That becomes, you choose your platform, you choose which method works for you. That'll be the dream. But for Zero to just kind of not show any innovation at this point is a slight disappointment in my eyes. But hey, what can I say?
Yeah, I mean, as I say, do they need it? I don't know. I think there's opportunities here. Any problem solving should give the opportunity for new solutions and new features. But if they're happy, and they've said it several times before, they're happy with their product. It's now refinement. So if they are happy with their product and they think, well, actually for sole traders, we've got a really good product, all we need is the ability to file for MTD it, then whether that's right or wrong, according to based on what the industry thinks, different matter. But that could well be their positioning. Yeah.
And we'll see. We'll see what happens. My cynic view is that your Zero lovers will just use it anyway, and they won't see that there's anything else out in the market. They won't look in else, and they'll lose out, right?
Because you have the same approach to Apple.
But I
how good an Android phone is, you're going to use Apple.
I have an Android phone, but I have an Android phone, so I will still dip in and play around with it. I have a Windows device. Like I'm not. I have the ones that I'll stick my flag in, and they're the ones that I'm gonna support and everything else. But I still look what's happening on the other side. I still peek over the fence and have a look what's going on.
Yeah.
I just feel like because I know there's a few. I was talking to some accountants, bookkeepers the other day, and I know there's a few people who are just like MTD. We're just not offering. We're just going to stay clear of it completely. And any of our clients who fall for it, we're just going to disengage with them. And I get the reasons, and I'm not criticizing their approach, but is it because they're zero only and they don't feel like there's any real support there? Because again, hats off to Sage. They are absolutely going down on the support aspect. That's their USP, right? We're going to support you through this journey. We're going to make sure that you have, the right software to propose for it, and they're looking at the whole workflow from end to end, right? You guys, you're supporting your users on how to implement them. That's a unique approach. What's Zero doing in this space? I don't know. Other than offering a new SKU that seems to be cheaper, I don't know what else they're doing. So, yeah.
Well, it is 9:32.
I'm always I'm always going to be the. Well, people are going to take it with a pinch of salt, aren't they? So, look, we'll talk about Jax and Intuit Assist next week because I have some interesting aspects on there. And my final point of this one is let's be kind to one another. There's been some really horrible posts on social media at the moment that's been fully unwarranted. So our last public service announcement is let's try and make social media a nice place again, because at the moment it just seems a bit,
as entertaining as it is to sit and watch from the sidelines.
Yeah,
it's kind of be nice to go to each other anyway.
Yeah, let's try and figure that out. So, and anything exciting your end this week?
No, just a week in the office, cracking on. Lots of things to do. No time to do it in. Usual story.
Sam says, "Oh, maybe they just emailed to delay me only." Well, maybe it's because Johann doesn't want to admit this, but he's now a platinum gold VIP, the best version of Zero ever. Zero fanboy, whatever it is that he is now. So he probably gets special treatment. Sam, don't we? People like you and me will get our version of Simple at some point, but those elite over there, they probably get special treatment. What can I say? Any comment on that, Johann? You a Zero fanboy?
I cancelled 15 QuickBooks licenses last week and put them onto Zero.
Badge of honor, isn't it? And Paul says Service Mate or Service M8.
M8. The QuickBooks have been given a year's notice of me saying I'm getting fed up with your permissions and you're messing about with what clients do and don't get and your prices and stuff. And those 15 clients that I cancelled, they aren't fit. Like QuickBooks isn't fit for purpose for them anymore. They need more granular level control of users and stuff. And users QuickBooks don't give them that unless they go onto £100+ a month QuickBooks Advanced, which isn't really that advanced apart from the price point. So, yeah, I fed back. Nothing's changed. So, end of the financial year, they got moved. All right.
Cool.
But yeah,
obviously I can't talk about that. So moving swiftly on. Well, it's the end of the thing anyway. But all I can say is there is changes afoot, but whatever. I think that's it. I think we've gone through all the comments. Just make sure there's nothing on Instagram. Cool.
That's all what right. I was using for AML. I use Zama.
Oh, yeah, good point. Yeah, same here. And couldn't be happier. Could not be happier, especially with all the support they've given us for the ACSP. That is an acronym I will never. I don't know what's wrong with my brain, but I can't figure that out. Yeah, just can't figure that one out. The amount of support they're giving for that, hats off, chef's kiss to them on that. Really, really happy with it. So yeah, we use exactly the same, and we will not be changing anytime soon compared to what we were doing before. 9-day difference. All right, everyone. Hope you enjoy a good week. We'll be back same time, same place for another exciting episode of Ask the Accountant, episode number 131 is next on our agenda. And yeah, we'll definitely try and bring in the Jacks versus Intuit list, or however we're going to approach that for next one. So cheers, everyone. Have a great day. I'm now off to ITAW, which has started 35 minutes ago. So we'll see how that goes. If anyone's at the PQ Awards, I'll see you at the PQ Awards as well. So cheers, everybody. We will see you all next week. Bye.
See you next week.